Welcome back to the show, folks. We'll take a look at these beautiful faces, these kids. They're very much the face of a crisis involving one of our most important industries. White spot disease is threatening to wipe out Australia's entire production of prawns, putting thousands of jobs at risk. Now, I met with just some of the prawn farmers affected who are now staring disaster in the face. It's a picture-perfect morning on the Logan River, but beneath the pristine waters, something is poisoning this paradise.
Well, at least 25 million prawns and $15 million of income that we won't get this year.
Huge.
It's massive. It's a disaster for us and disaster for the industry around the Logan and potentially the industry in Australia too.
It's called white spot, a highly contagious, fatal virus that's spread from Asia. It causes the prawn's shell to come loose, white spots taking over its body. It's not harmful to humans, but in just a matter of days, it can wipe out entire prawn populations. The farmers knew it was coming. The government ignored it.
It's been a terrible exercise for Australia's quarantine system, which has a proud history, but increasingly it's becoming porous. It's being weakened partly by a lack of investment into that area from the federal government.
We watched prawns getting killed, and when 25,000 litres of chlorine are getting pumped into a hectare of water, and watching nearly 500,000 prawns just sort of come to the surface and gasp for air. You don't kill animals on purpose as a farmer. It was the worst day of all of our lives, by far the worst day in our farming lives.
In October of last year, this pond was filled with water and filled with prawns and filled with so much hope for a bumper season. 2 months later, 400,000 prawns were dead and hundreds of thousands of dollars was washed down the drain. This is just one pond in one farm, and as you can see, there's nothing left. Noel, when you now look into these empty waterways, how does it make you feel?
Well, you're just so disappointed. I think it's so disheartening and that sort of thing. You've built this in the last 35 years and to see it like that, it's unbelievable. Unfortunately, I lost my wife 2 years ago, and this on top of it, yes, it just certainly knocked me around a bit. And but you got to fight on. You got to be brave and keep going.
But Aussie farmers are tough and they aren't giving up. It's time to rebuild from the ground up. So you've got to get all the water out,
All the water, yep.
Clean it all out,
Yep.
and then try and start again.
Dry it again.
And then that's when you go inside to have these prawns spawning without the disease.
Correct.
Is it fair to say this is the start of the recovery process for you?
This is absolutely the start.
How do you know that what's going to happen here is not going to be affected by more contaminations in the future?
We don't. Honestly, we certainly don't. We can't guarantee that that white spot's not going to hit us again.
Just a couple of hours across the border and an entirely different story. It's dawn here in Yamba, and for the Roberts family, it's peak harvest season. Gee, it's a beautiful morning, mate.
Yeah, it's not too bad, Carl.
Some office. Give us an idea of the setup, what you're doing here this morning.
Basically, we're just towing a beam trawl behind us.
That's a net?
Just a net, yeah. A net, which is one of the ways we harvest when the pond starts to get thinned out a bit. Yeah.
And how many do you pull out every morning?
We usually aim for about 5 tonne a day.
5 tonne a day?
Yeah.
White spot isn't here yet, but it's lapping on the door. If they can stop it, they survive and thrive. Whoa! Good morning, Yamba! And the good thing is, none of that white spot.
Yeah.
It's a real family business here, 3rd generation.
I'm going to be a prawn farmer.
You're going to be a prawn farmer. And that's why the stakes are so high.
Everything's wrapped up here, yeah, our whole life. The father and mother's life, my life, the kids' lives.
If you could say anything to the government, what would it be?
I think they should start taking more notice of industries themselves. A lot of them are well educated and got the degrees, but they haven't had really any on-ground, full on-ground experience.
This is time for the Australian prawn farmers to show if they're tough or not, and I reckon we are.
You'll make it?
I will make it, don't you worry, we'll make it.
They're great, hard-working people, and it was a privilege to meet with them and to discuss their problems. You know, it's a really tough time for the prawn farmers And to think it could have all been prevented, imagine how they feel. Back in 2006, the Minister for Primary Industries, Tim Mulheron, said this: "The Australian government, through biosecurity, is responsible for guaranteeing that our industries are not endangered by imported products." Well, they let them in, and look what happened. I believe they are entitled, these farmers, to compensation to rebuild for their families, for their employees, and for Australian business as a whole. We need to keep this industry and industries like them alive. And we will, of course, keep you updated on how those farmers get on in the coming weeks and months. We wish them all the very best. Lisa.
We sure do, and such an important story. Thanks for that, Carl.